we're doing. Yes, and by the way, everybody, we're going to record today's session because this is going to be available as a collateral after we do this session. And that way people can go back in case they missed anything. But again, this is going to be about the city of Glendale, what they've been doing to electrify, going back, starting 5 years. And we're going to be discussing the leaf blower outreach. And then also Elizabeth from the Office of Sustainability is going to go into some of the particulars of the new gas leaf blower ban. Elizabeth, if you can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name's Elizabeth Harris. I'm from the City of Glendale's Office of Sustainability team, and we appreciate you coming today and sharing your time with us. As Dan mentioned earlier, we are currently doing outreach and working with the American Green Zone Alliance to conduct this outreach, as they are both landscapers and experts in this area, and they'll share more about that. But to carry a little background, you may have heard that this summer, City Council passed a new ordinance which bans the use of gas-powered leaf blowers in the city. So that is why we're doing this outreach to share the different ways we can do landscaping work in Glendale and that don't require a gas-powered leaf blower. But we'll go into that in more detail about the ordinance and compliance later on in this presentation. But we'll give it back to Dan and Agza to kind of go over why this is important to transition to electric landscaping equipment.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And Eric, if you can just give a quick introduction and then let people know that we definitely are here just in case if we have any questions or things that need to be articulated in Spanish.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Again, just like Dan said, my name is Eric Diaz. I'm here to help if anyone needs something translated into Spanish, whether it's something that's presented or a question you might have. So, si alguien tiene cualquier pregunta o duda y necesita que se le explique en español, para aquí estoy yo y mi nombre es Eric Diaz.
Muchas gracias, Eric. Eric has been helping me with my Spanish, and I think I'm improving. Okay, so thank you very much, Eric. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna pull up screen share. Please bear with me. Okay, can we see that? Elizabeth?
Yes, we
Eric?
can see your screen.
Okay, great. Okay, again, Dan Mabe, American Green Zone Alliance, and today's presentation is titled City of Glendale Leaf Blower Outreach, LBO. First, a little bit about AGZA, the American Green Zone Alliance. We are a leader in low-impact grounds maintenance strategies. Our mission is to prudently help transition our industry to quieter, more sustainable practices. Here in California, a very air quality challenged California, it's definitely to help lower emissions from gas equipment. And then the applications are going to apply to commercial crews who work in municipalities, academic institutions, and then private companies that are large, medium, and then the smallest of operators that help us beautify our communities. Okay, so it's really important to understand how did we get here. This is kind of a look nationally of how there is a demand and a concern with a lot of noise and again, localized pollution resulting from operating small gas engines, lawn and garden equipment. There's over 200 and counting some form, ban, regulation, or restriction in various parts of the country. So coming from the industry, here is our top 10 impacts of gas operations. It's important to know that we're not impugning people who use gas tools, but we do know that they are responsible first and foremost for plenty of noise. And I think this is why a lot of people are very frustrated, especially the way we're situated in our urban and suburban environments. And of course, if we look at the top left, emissions, as we know, again, air pollution is very challenging, especially down here in the South Basin and Southern California. We encourage people to do the research. It's one of the most air quality challenged areas in the United States. Eric and I can speak to this. We were both former gas operators, hardcore gas operators. When we look at vibration, electric tools tend to be more pleasant to use than their gas counterparts from that vibration standpoint. And then lesser known things, bottom left, toxic solid waste. There's a whole host of things that go with maintaining small gas fleets, cradle to grave. So there's plenty of reasons why we could and perhaps should be doing this. So we're going to focus on the noise for a second. And I know we hear it every day, but we're going to just play it again just to reinforce one of the reasons why we're here.
Okay, here's our gas contenders right here. Woo! All right, we got power trim. Looks like we have, smoke coming out of the back of the blower there.
Again, I always mention this. I'm not exaggerating. I think I've watched this video over 1,000 times, and it's just, yeah, it's pretty impactful each time. And again, it's very clear, not impugning these fine people who beautify our neighborhoods every single day. Unfortunately, a lot of workers do not wear the proper PPE, hearing protection, sun protection, eye protection. When I was in the gas industry, I did not protect myself properly for a lot of the time I was out there, and I am paying the price now.
Okay.
So here's a typical situation, how we live next to one another. This is how I'm situated. Right now, I can see the neighbors next door to me, to the back, the left, the right. And when the gas equipment and the gardeners come, this is what that visual looks like. And you see the visual of that sound pressure. And this is with gas tools. If you were using electric tools, this is what that looks like. And why is that? Gas tools, particularly gas leaf blowers, operate at low frequencies. Low frequencies travel long distances, and they penetrate barriers much easier than electric tools that operate at higher frequencies. Now, electric tools, a lot of them can be quite loud when you're the operator and you're right next to it. So we still recommend hearing protection for the workforce. But as you distance yourself from electric tools, that sound pressure drops off significantly. Here is a visual and an audio example of that. This is a 74-inch commercial mower operating at one of AGSA Green Zone school districts in Antelope Valley. Nothing was altered. This is why we usually call our videos AGSA Raw. if you will. You can go to our YouTube channel, check out the whole host of videos there. And again, we just film it and then put it on as it is. Addressing worker health. Eric runs things over at the University of Southern California. Him and I have been at this a long time, and we both feel very passionate. And one of the reasons why we were very, very, very early adopters is we wanted better health for ourselves and the colleagues that we work with and people that would work for us, if you will. We're not sensationalizing this, but we are saying that there is definite exposures to workers of this industry. And that's a good reason to really support and helping transition this industry, getting into cleaner alternatives. So there is a solid waste component to this. Just one worker each year can account for this much solid waste. And how you correlate that is with the tools, the gas tools that one worker will use and the maintaining of those small gas engines. It is a footprint. Electric tools definitely have a footprint as well, but not nearly as much as this, because you have to use a whole host of different products and do tune-ups and things like that to keep gas fleets going, small engine gas fleets. So program solutions, just a quick run through of some examples, and we're really demonstrating that this can be done. But before I bring these slides up, I really want to stress this was done through a phased, structured program approach, and really to set up enduring success. And here's some examples of institutional AGSA green zones. This is the city of South Pasadena. They were very interested in doing this. We started with Garfield Park on the right, you see there, 10-acre park. And back then in 2013-14, we did a beta of this, and we measured work production rate differences between the gas and the electric. We measured what the cost benefit was using electric and kilowatt hour costs versus two-stroke oil and gas costs and maintenance costs. And after that beta, the data was favorable enough for them to say, hey, you know what, we want to green zone the entire city, of which we did. And again, this was a data-driven project, and it made sense for them. It made national news, if you will. I know this is a picture of a photo op, but there was the mayor, the city council. There were people from the company that maintains their grounds, and there was also a state senator and members, assembly members present, because they were very interested in how this was done. So Glendale, you know, we really have to commend you. You followed the lead. This is nearly 5 years ago, and it really does start with this. It starts with putting the alternatives in the hands of the workers, letting them test it, gaining their trust, their confidence, if you will. The result of this was the city of Glendale was able to AGSA Green Zone certify 8 properties, very meaningful. And that's where we led, where we are today. We have done the training with their vendors and with their Department of Public Works people. And Glendale is poised to be the largest municipal green zone in the nation. So they basically took that template of 8 properties and scaled it to encompass the entire city. And I have to tell you, it is a substantial project. But what's great about it is it's set up for success in perpetuity. Here's an example of what you would expect when the city of Glendale is done in other green zone cities.
Okay, AGSA Raw here, real world, real people, real maintenance situations. We have a Steel BGA 100 backpack battery leaf blower. This is a very hardworking guy. I know him personally. He is one of the crews that help maintain one of AGSA's green zone cities. And as you could not hear barely what he's doing, he's about 10 feet away from me. And you can see how they've been trained with the certification to use the blower judiciously, not more power than needed. We do encourage them to kick up the least amount of dust and to use rakes and brooms mixed in with the electric technology. Until next time.
And whether it's gas or electric, definitely we do workforce training that really does encourage true low impact on the community, but still allowing them to give that and deliver that aesthetic expectation and get their work done in a timely manner. And so far it's working out. City of Glendale, they put their money where their mouth is. After they accomplished, again, these 8 properties, they started budgeting for the expansion of this. And now, again, we're on the eve of doing something very special with them. Stay tuned. So how do we communicate this progress? AGSA and a nonprofit, Quiet Communities, developed something called ELF. It stands for Environmental Landscape Footprint. And we're able to really do inventory on a very granular level with all of our projects. And we're able to produce impact reports based on those inventories that we take in. And then once we substantiate the transition and operations with the certification, we can then publish what we call the ELF outcomes and dashboards. City of Glendale has one currently. Of course, they're going to expand theirs significantly. It's very important that this program with the City of Glendale is not punitive. It's going to be more like an educational program, if you will. I am one of these workers. I used a gas leaf blower to make a living, and we are not going to ever allow this workforce to be demonized. We really do need to look at the equipment, and we really ask that people do not demonize the workers and that we come up with ideas to support the industry to help transitioning. You know, these are just some examples, but this is where you really get your bang for your buck. When you can engage this workforce at this intimate level, and you could really educate them going from one technology to the other, and you can do this behavior modification process. It's not just lowering the cost of tools, getting them in their hands, and seeing hey, what is that outcome going to be? When you add this component to it, it really does set it up for enduring success. We are out there constantly with new electric technologies coming online, comparing it to the gas technologies, so we could give it to the workers straight, if you will, what those expectations are, what it can, what it can't do. And that way they don't have false expectations once they get equipment in their hands. Here's an example of that. And before I play this, I really want to let you know some of these really large projects that we're doing. It has been found in Southern California. We know we've had some wet seasons. They come and go. But on average, 70% of the workload for leaf blowers, gas or electric, is going to be dry hardscape.
This gentleman loved this blower. He was using gas and then another company's electric leaf blower, which they were not happy with. But they're trying this Husqvarna backpack blower, and he I just haven't seen such a big smile on someone's face in a long time.
Yeah, this is the South Coast AQMD Diamond Bar headquarters. It is an AGSA green zone, but this was a situation where when we came into the fold, there was some electric leaf blowers that were just purchased at a big box store. They really didn't understand the differences between the levels of equipment. So we basically brought over 5 different sets that we knew to be commercial capable, and then let them try these out. And again, these crews were just astonished of how much faster and efficient they can get their work done with these more powerful models that were introduced to them. There were many more than this one. We are entirely agnostic on brands, and we really like people to try a variety of different platforms to see what works best for them. This is what we're going to be doing in the city and have done in the city of Glendale. We've done it for multiple cities nationwide. I've been to 5 states in 11 days, and there's a need for this. This is the engagement that we plan on doing in the city of Glendale and other cities nearby. We let them know about the CORE program from the California Air Resources Board. We let them know about the South Coast AQMD program and any other programs that might help them bring down the cost of electric. We bring the tools right to them, and if they want, allow them to try the tools and compare it against their gas. They feel the weight, things like that. And I must say, it's been fairly successful, this approach. Just some other examples of it. And again, this is going to be a campaign, and we're just introducing it today. So this can't be just asymmetrically on the workers, and even on the city, and even on governmental agencies who support battery technologies. We really have to look at ourselves as property owners and understand that perhaps there could be a paradigm shift in the way we think about how our landscapes should be done. So this has been pretty much the standard for the past 4 or 5 decades, and we call it hyper manicured landscaping. When I was a gas gardener, I had an entire truck of very powerful equipment that can deliver this aesthetic, okay? This is an example of a more rustic, natural look that promotes more low impact, perhaps some biodiversity. So we feel, based on this homeowner's feedback, it has not harmed their property value. They're allowing leaves to fall on the grass, and basically their gardeners are instructed to only blow off the hardscapes and the organic debris onto the turf, and they're allowed to mulch those leaves, if you will. Landscapers, again, we, or gardeners, it's ingrained, it's etched in our mindset. This is what I need to give the property owner to have them write a check, and this is what they want. And I have to be honest with you, we just did a survey here in Woodland Hills where I live, and a lot of people do expect and still want this. But again, this is the process of letting people know at what cost do we get this at. So homeowners, the ones that are on the fence, up in the air, they may not know what they want. So this is an opportunity for gardeners and for all of us to educate and perhaps get homeowners to rethink, hey, do I want hyper manicured, or can I have a really nice manicured place and have it done more with low impact methods and equipment? So low impact approaches, best practices, there's biodiversity forward, inputs versus outputs. Let's take a look. Biodiversity. This is going to be a garden, which could be considered a pollinator garden, if you will. Lots of color. It's not going to be perfectly drought tolerant, but it's not turf. It will not take as much water as traditional turf. It's colorful. It has character. And again, it's going to attract a lot of pollinators. Okay, so before I go into there's 3 short videos of people-powered methods and tools. But I want to talk about inputs and outputs before I play this video. I'm raking, and I'm explaining that the leaves are going to go for mulch, and they're going to be used in composters, if you will. So outputs are what you take off of your property. I try to keep as much inputs on the property itself and make fertilizer out of it and use it, and try to throw the least amount in that green bin behind you. But even when it goes to the city, luckily they have programs in place to create free mulch for people, but it is going to be best practice to keep as much inputs on your property as possible. But here's a look at some people-powered methods.
Finally, we have the rake. I love raking, actually. So this is pretty heavy stuff I need to rake through. And again, these leaves are going to be used for mulching purposes. Now I'm feeling the workout in the upper body, and it's great. But
okay, so admittedly, this was done during the height of COVID. But I still go out there and rake. As busy as I am, I do not have a gardener. And my wife and I go out, and we use mostly people-powered tools. When I go on business trips and come back, I actually find solace in my front and backyard and doing this. My wife grows a lot of vegetables on the property. And, you know, it's just, we encourage people in between gardening services, maybe get out there and get back in tune with things out in your own yard. Okay, and then that was a rake. Now we have the broom.
okay, we're back, and now we are featuring people power tools. If you don't want to disturb the neighbors, and again, you don't want to use gas or electric, why not a good old-fashioned broom? Very good exercise as well. What we have here, a ground sweeper. We're going to show you how it works in our next segment.
Yeah, a lot of people laugh at me, but I don't care. I'm sticking with this. And if I do commercial jobs, I'm getting my commercial electric tools out. I'm good for a couple of brush clearing jobs, Eric, in the summer still. Okay, so let's take a look at this sweeper.
Okay, we're back, and look what we have here. We have what we call a little ground sweeper. This one is actually from Germany, and this little sweeper is 7 years old. And this is how simple it is. You're going to attach this capture container to the brushes in the front, walk behind it, and just walk forward. It's that simple. We'll do a few passes here. Instead of blowing debris into your neighbor's side of the property and being rude, or blowing it out in the street for cars to drive by and to have it broadcast back into your property, you capture it in here. And look how much that picked up right there.
So that is an input. That will go into our composter. If the composter is bursting and we can't fit any more into it, then the overflow goes into the green can. Here's an example of a family. They attended one of our sessions, and you know, these are working professionals, both of them. They have 2 kids. They just decided, you know what, we don't want to use any chemicals on our yard. They went and bought some electric tools, and they made their own little residential green zone. But it's still going strong today. They were paying their gardener nearly $400 a month, and they're just sticking with it. And if you see the grass right there, the grass is a little high. And they have a more relaxed view on it. Now, their yard is well kept, but again, they're more in tune of what's going on and trying to be as low impact as possible. So what steps can homeowners and gardeners take today? I mean, like right now, starting tomorrow morning, well, we can stop or reduce the use of gas leaf blowers. We can mulch leaves with mowers. We can use brakes. We can use rakes and brooms in selected areas. We're not going to suggest you throwing a rake or a broom in your gardener's hand. That's going to be quite tough. Their business models are based on speed to get work done. But if you want them to be more lower impact, and have them use like electric blowers efficiently and judiciously. Let's go to the next one. Homeowners, we can consider paying gardeners a little more to go electric or to use people-powered methods. Time is money. I don't know if there's any gardeners here besides Eric and I, but if there are gardeners, we need to consider how important we actually are to the quality of life in communities. I mean, we are very essential. You know, keeping the community organized, clean, well kept, morale high, but also we have a responsibility to try to do this work and keep the quality of life in our communities as high as possible. This was a very rewarding day. This is working with the California Air Resources Board for the core program with CalSTART. The sustainability office at the city of Glendale, very proactive. We did a little satellite event there. It did rain on our parade that day. However, we did do robust outreach 2 weeks prior to the event, and we reached a lot of gardeners within the city and surrounding cities. And we really felt that a lot of people we know took advantage of the core program, which I mentioned. The funding is pretty much gone. There might be some left. We're still encouraging people to inquire, and we'll be letting people know when those funding mechanisms are replenished. We just covered core, that was on the left there, but now we have South Coast AQMD, and always kind of had them right there with their program regionally. And they cover Orange County, they cover Riverside, San Bernardino, and LA counties with their program. And then the city of Glendale has something. For the city of Glendale, it's your water and power. If you look to the right, there's a rebate for homeowners. The limit is 1 rebate every 5 years per customer at the same residence. If you purchase your electric blower in Glendale, you're going to get a $50 rebate. If you purchase it outside of Glendale, you're going to get a $40 rebate. And trust me, it doesn't seem like a lot, but for like a handheld homeowner model that you would get, it really does make a big difference. So we encourage people to use that. So South Coast Air Quality Management District, their program is really kicking into high gear now. I have done probably over 75 individual events where people come and bring in their gas tools and they leave with a brand new electric one. This is an example of a bin that we filled up years ago, but now it's a little bit different with the South Coast Air Quality Management District and their program. It's the 2023 going into 2024 ELNG program. It reduces the purchase price of commercial grade lawn and garden equipment. And we highlighted in green because you're literally saving green. Up to 85% discount will be provided with a gas trade-in. There are some caps, I think, like $12,000 to $15,000, one of the two, for large riding mowers. But you'll have to go ahead and get onto the site to really understand what those caps are. I should know it by heart. I do believe it is 15,000, but I'm going to check myself. And that was for the large electric mowers. Okay, so frequently asked questions about this program. The goals are clear. It's to improve air quality, and it's exchanging older gas tools that are more polluting for new zero emission at a source of operation commercial electric grade equipment. And again, it's going to be for operation within the 4-county region of the South Coast AQMD. Eligibility: commercial gardeners and landscapers, local governmental agencies, school districts, colleges, and nonprofits. Please take advantage of this. There's upwards of 2 million plus left in this program, I believe. The process: what do you do? How do you access and how do you take advantage of this? You're actually going to look for one of the retailers that are in the program, and they're all listed on the South Coast AQMD website. It's a voucher-based process. You're going to go in, you're going to get qualified, a voucher will be produced, and then you're going to bring in your gas tool, and you will receive that point of sale cost reduction right when you hand in your gas tool. You will get that. You will not have to deal with anything administratively beyond that point.
Hey, Dan, I'm just going to butt in for a second. There's
Please.
a question on the Q&A. Where can I get these electric blowers? You kind of answered that, but that was just to be, clear. That's specific to, core and SCAQMD, participating dealers, but the leaf blowers are available in a lot more places if you want to get into that. Dan, just to answer the question.
Yeah, no, to get any discounts, you will have to participate at one of those retailers, for those program retailers. But thank you, Eric. Absolutely. If you're just looking to get into, a handheld version or a prosumer version, they're readily available at all the big box stores. Places like Ace. Definitely when you go into retailers now, to Eric's point, you will see a much wider variety of electric tools in general, but especially the blowers. Eric, do you think that we covered that okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, thank you very
Definitely.
much. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's important, electric, batteries. We are working directly with the manufacturers. AGSA is, and the likes of Outdoor Power Equipment Institute and National Association of Landscape Professionals, PGMS. And we all talk about this, and we're all pooling resources and ideas to make sure that there's going to be, and which there is, adequate retrieval mechanisms. And this comes with some of the outreach and the education and the retraining. We really stress, never throw a battery away. Do not continue to use a cracked or damaged battery, and make sure that if a battery is damaged or it's at the end of its life cycle, that you bring it to a place that has been provided for you, that information, or bring it back into the place where you purchased it. Very important that we're mindful in pursuing this avenue for grounds maintenance and landscape maintenance. And our very last slide, we're going to leave it up here for questions and comments. First, you can visit Glendale, California, or ca.gov/leaf blower. If you want any questions answered about the leaf blower ordinance itself or any other activities that might be happening regarding the outreach, you can call the sustainability office. The phone number is right there. And you can also email the sustainability office, and you have the email address there on the bottom. And before we go into Q&A, I do want to go back to my colleague Eric. And Eric, definitely, if there's any gaps or anything that we missed besides what was mentioned before, please, if we can point those out, definitely want to make sure that we're giving all of the information to everyone.
No, I don't think there's any gaps. I just add a couple of things with the, couple of different incentive programs, coming from someone like myself who has personally used and purchased a lot of equipment using those programs. They work, they save you. I mean, I've literally saved over $100,000 purchasing equipment, leaf blowers, hedge trimmers, large on lawnmowers, swapping old gas equipment for battery equipment. So, they're there to incentivize you to make that change and also make it easier on everyone, making the transition. But the programs definitely, they work. I'd say that, number one. And then the kind of the last piece you mentioned, Dan, about the need there will be to address how to recycle and take care of batteries once they reach the end of their life cycle. Even with maintenance of battery equipment, we're not here saying that this equipment is, perfect and there's nothing, it works perfectly. It's equal in terms of its gas counterpart. It definitely has its drawbacks as well. Recycling batteries is going to be something that, we're going to need to figure out. Even maintenance, the equipment, it's not, zero maintenance. It's still going to need some attention, but it's not nearly anywhere near as much as the gas versions. And even tools that are kind of coming out now, they're all, brand new on the market. Some things are better than others, and it's just, everything is happening so fast that we kind of have to, as the industry, kind of try to kind of catch up or, stay in the forefront. And it comes with some kind of bumps in the road, but it takes people like everyone tuned in today, people who do the work, organizations like AGSA to continue to support this transition, because it's going to happen, whether you like it or not, whether we like it or not. It's going to move forward, and we need to figure out kind of the best way possible to support that transition and make everyone, as successful as possible.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Coming directly through the lens of someone who is still a day-to-day operator and manager of operators. Very much appreciate that input. And Eric and I, we go back to where in our all-electric operations and businesses, we were using things with cords. I resorted to making my own lithium power packs to interface with equipment that was on the market back then. But by and large, Eric and I both agree this can be done. It is being done. And you just gave me the chills. You saved $100,000. The ROI trajectory between someone buying equipment at full retail versus someone afforded the programs we have here, it's just night and day. Someone might have to delay ROI, a return on investment, 3 years, maybe 4 years. With these programs, bringing the cost down, you can actually get a return on investment in a year's time, definitely before 2 years. And sometimes in some cases, we've been able to substantiate less than a year, depending on the tool and how much of an incentive there was to bring the cost down. Elizabeth, before we go into Q&A, was there anything else you wanted to add?
Yes, so I just want to thank you, Dan, and your team for putting together this presentation and sharing about these awesome programs and alternatives. I just want to reiterate for all the people who are here today, the use of gas-powered leaf blowers has been prohibited in the city of Glendale, and that was passed in August and came into effect in September. However, the city is not enforcing such ordinance at the moment. Enforcement is planned to start in September 2024, unless city council or city manager requests that it be extended. So you have a year or still quite a few more months to convert your business or convert your home to electric leaf blowers or other non-gas powered alternatives like the rake broom or the cool little push cart leaf blower thing that I really like. At this moment, when enforcement does start, it would be a first an advisory warning would be given, and then they would start doing fines, and these fines would be given to the property or homeowner. So if you have a landscaper that's using a gas-powered leaf blower, please let them know about this, because if you are a homeowner having someone contracted to do your work for you, you may be the person receiving the fine. However, if you have any questions about how fines and citations are given out, what would happen would be we would have a code enforcement officer would have to view the violation in person with their own eyes, and they would be the ones to distribute at first the warning and then any subsequent fines if they view a violation again. So just want to let you know if your neighbor reports you doesn't necessarily for using a gas powered leaf blower, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be fined. We need a code enforcement officer out there, but enforcement won't start until September 2024 right now. And all people will be provided with a warning violation. And at this time, any violation would be distributed by a City of Glendale code enforcement officer having to view it in person. And if you have any questions about helping your landscaper transition to electric equipment, we have a lot of resources that Dan went over today's presentation on our website, glendaleca.gov leaf blower. He has lists of different equipment as well as retailers that are approved by the state for electric equipment, and all the links to the different rebate programs that we went over today are in there as well, so you can find the alternatives. But yes, if you have any questions about any of the content in here, feel free to, I think, raise your hand or type it in the chat, and we can answer it now if you'd like.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elizabeth. And because of the amount of participants, I basically am allowing people to just have a conversation. I think we can do it that way if that's all right.
No problem.
Great. Okay, so if you have a question, please unmute yourself and ask away.
This is Stephen Meek. I was wondering, I currently have electric, but they're all corded and want to go to battery. And I know that a lot of the things, if you buy Ryobi or something and use all of them, they use the same battery, but do they have group battery chargers? And can you tell me if you think that one brand is better than another?
Well, definitely we're brand neutral, and we don't have an opinion if one's better than the other, but we do have data, and it's mostly for professional use. And we do work with our clients, and we give them the data based on just how long it's been used, how long the batteries have been going. I would say if you how big is your property? How long would you say you require to use a electric leaf blower?
A leaf blower, I would probably not need to use very long at all, maybe at the very most an hour. But for like a hedge trimmer, I have lots of plants that need to be pruned back, as well as branches of trees that some of which hang low, really low, and you walk into them. So I wanted to get like a hedge trimmer and I want to call it a small pole saw chainsaw.
Yeah, I think for your situation, you're gonna want to go to one of the big box stores or like an Ace chain and look for one of their platforms that they offer. They have Black and Decker, they have Ryobi. We see actually Steel has a homeowner line, Ego. There's so many to choose from, but it sounds like if you're going to be using a blower for almost an hour, you might need 2 to 3 onboard batteries that are maybe 300 to 500 watt hours each, depending on what power level that you use it at. So I think you're going in the right direction, Stephen, by buying a suite of tools, because if you have multiple batteries, you can use them for the string trimming, the hedge trimming. Hedge trimmers draw the least amount of amperage of all electric tools. So, and I know Eric will verify this as well, hedge trimmers tend to get the biggest bang for your buck going gas to electric. So if you buy a suite of these tools, you do all the work first. You can put something back on the charger, and then for that specific blower workload, you can have your batteries to go towards that blower at the end. But definitely, it sounds like you're going to need 2 to 3 batteries, and again, maybe 250 up to 500 watt hours each onboard batteries.
Thank you.
And then I would just add to that to answer your question regarding the chargers, most brands make chargers that at least charge 2 batteries at a time. For commercial type stuff, there's stuff that charges 4 or more at a time, but that's not something you're going to need. And then the only other comment I would make is just maybe you want to keep in mind specific brands. For example, like if you already have other power tools, power drills, stuff like that. A lot of things like Milwaukee, Makita, the landscape tools use the same batteries that other power tools use. So, maybe you save some money kind of going that route and sticking with the same batteries and chargers that you might already own. That's just, personal idea that might work if you already have some other kind of tools that you use around the house.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. RP, do you have a question? Hi, RP.
Hi, Dan. Hi, everyone. My name is RP Kasparian. Actually, yes, I do. I was just jotting down some things I wanted to ask. First of all, I wanted to commend the city of Glendale for their efforts in banning gas-powered leaf blowers. I know it takes a lot of effort, and I just wanted to thank you guys for doing that. I'm a resident in the city of Glendale, so I definitely appreciate it. Wanted to thank Dan Mabe and AGSA for this very informative and excellent presentation. I actually had a question on the rebate program for homeowners that the city of Glendale offers. Does that rebate program include batteries? And do you have an eligibility list for the equipment, or is it just any electric leaf blower would qualify?
For the GWP rebate, it is currently stated as any electric leaf blower would qualify. Currently, it doesn't include batteries. That's something we can look to in the future of adding if there's demand for it. And the credit, you receive the rebate as credit on your GWP electricity bill.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have a question now. So, Arpi, really great running into you here. Uh, Great working with you and your capacity in South Pasadena, and just amazing. And I did not know you're a resident of Glendale, so glad that you're here. What, Elizabeth? I do know that companies do sell. Some of them do sell their electric blowers, what we call dry, meaning it's not a kit. The kit comes with the blower, a battery, and a charger. Some do sell them dry without the battery and the charger. Is the rebate from the utility company, is it specific that the money can't go towards an entire kit, or it has to go just towards a dry electric leaf blower?
I'm not certain about that, but when working with GWP on developing this, we just want to have proof that you bought an electric leaf blower. So um, I would assume that if you were to buy, a package and it came in a box with everything, and it showed that it was an electric leaf blower, you would get the voucher. I would check with my colleagues there for everyone to double check if it's strictly leaf blower, but I think they're just looking for an item on the receipt to demonstrate that you bought an electric leaf blower. So if it's just like a single line item, whether it's a kit or just dry, you would get the 40 or $50 off if you buy it in Glendale, and $40 if you get it outside of Glendale.
Thank you for that clarity.
Well, we have a raffle, Dan. Well, do you want to tell our attendees the prize?
Absolutely. It's going to be an AGSA swag bag. Esther puts those together, and it has, I believe, a ball cap, a winter beanie, has a little notepad and an AGSA keychain, I believe. And let's go ahead and get our first winner, and then make sure that we're going to go ahead and in the chat box put info@agsa.net. We'll put it in there, and you can send your first, last name, and your mailing address, and it will be mailed to you.
Yes. So how many winners do we have again, Dan?
How many winners, Esther, are there going to be today?
So we provide 5, and actually I do put the access contact email there. So whoever win that can send me an email about the first, last name and the mailing address. I don't want they put in here. Actually, I
No,
like
it's
them
okay.
yeah.
We can
All right.
reach out to the winners and get your information, since everyone here signed up through the
Yes,
link. So we have your
exactly.
emails. And our winners are Guillaume, Michael, Ray, Patrick, and Hugh. So congratulations, our 5 winners. We have your emails. We'll reach out to you to get your mailing address. And as a thank you to everyone who participated here, thank you so much for your time, for your questions, and we'll send you the presentation and the link to the website for more information. So thank you, everyone, and thank you to our raffle winners. Congratulations, Guillaume, Michael, Ray, Patrick, and Hugh.
Okay,
Thank you.
goodbye, everyone, and happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you.